Good morning, Setlines. Today I would like to introduce Cheryl Piai. She's the CEO and co-founder of PIA, a truly inspiring company. And before I hand the mic off to her, I would like to thank you for strengthening our internship series by speaking with us for us today.
Sure. Thank you. That was good. So you are good at that. Thank you. Should I curtsy? I don't know. I'm actually really nervous. I didn't expect to be nervous. Hadn't really thought about this a lot, to be honest. When I agreed with Ms. Lowenstein, when I agreed to do this, it was like a month ago, and I thought, sure, I can go speak to a group of kids and know what I'm doing. And then I woke up at 4 o'clock this morning and went, what was I thinking? I have no idea what I'm doing, and I really I'm super nervous about it, but I'm going to give it my best shot. Another little maybe TMI. I went back to sleep and for another hour this morning and woke up. When I woke up, I had a dream that my presentation consisted entirely of videos about cake and still photos of cake. I stopped eating sugar and flour about 2 weeks ago, and obviously it's in my subconscious. So hopefully it's a little more entertaining. But I wanted to talk to you guys about, first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Cheryl Piai. I am the CEO of an advertising agency in Carlsbad, San Francisco, and Portland now. We have 50 employees. We work with Fortune 20 companies primarily. We work with a couple of Fortune 100 brands. I don't know if do you guys know what a Fortune 100 company is, or a Fortune 10 or 20 company? Does anybody know what that is? It's a company that's rated on a stock exchange. They're one of the top companies, the highest revenue company. So our biggest client is Hewlett Packard. So all of the PCs you see and the printers you use, if you go on the Hewlett Packard website, every video that you see on there is ours. Every commercial you see primarily is ours. We do a lot of work for PepsiCo and other companies. We're just starting to work for Google and Facebook. So it's been a really exciting ride. Our company has grown significantly in the last 3 years. We went 3.5 years. We went from 8 employees to 50. We went from 1 location to 3. And 100% of that, I can say, is because we developed a really clear vision. And when you're a kid, it's very, I also want to go back. I have 4 kids. So I know a little bit about what it feels like. Do you remember when I've been a teenager? But I also know how hard it is for you guys. It's really, really tough. You guys are pulled in a million directions. You have all kinds of expectations on you. It's really difficult. The idea of vision is totally abstract when you're 16 years old, probably, but at the end of the day, you really all do have a vision somewhere inside of you for your lives. And I just wanted to try to talk about that a little bit and inspire you to maybe put that down on paper. Maybe you don't use paper, but put it down somewhere and give yourself a roadmap. So I'm going to try really hard to play this video. It's a PC, and I can't say that. Yeah, I love PCs.
I don't believe there is a limit. I know we can be anything.
Who knows this? One of you guys can do this.
When played.
No. It's just too slow to play video.
I don't
a technology school? Okay. Nah. Okay. It's all right. It's all right. So, hold on. We've got all these technical glitches. So, all right. I'm gonna narrate the video, what you would have seen, which was very, very inspirational and much better than listening to me talk. But it was really the gist of it is there are no limits to what you can do. And again, it's really tricky when you're a kid to understand that, and really, you're just trying to get through your life right now. But having a vision and moving toward it, anything is possible. Anything is possible at all. This would have absolutely inspired you and motivated you, and now we can't see it. So, but what I will tell you is I wanted to give some examples of vision in action in my life and how it's made a difference. And the first one was when we've had our company for 20 years. We've had our agency for 20 years, and my husband and I are partners. And we've always had big brand clients and done really fun work, really great video work. But it was always kind of a lifestyle business. We never had more than 8 employees. And we never really had a vision for how we wanted to grow the company. And about 4 years ago, I woke up one day and I said, I'm just sort of floating along. I'm kind of going along as the work comes in, and I sort of do the things day to day. I don't really have a big plan for my life. And that was, obviously, I'm really old. So coming to that late in the game. But, right? Which is why I'm talking to you about this, because don't do that. And I've had a lot of different careers, and everything I've done has fed into the work that I do now. But I didn't have a clear vision. And when I had an epiphany, I woke up one day, probably, like I said, about 4.5 years ago, I woke up one day and realized that I needed to make a commitment about where I was heading in my career and my business, and set some very clear goals for myself, and including going back to school. And I enrolled in school the day I had that epiphany and went back to business school. I went to Tuck Business School at Dartmouth and signed up for the MBA program, an executive MBA program, and ended up learning everything I needed to learn to grow my business. And we've gone on to, as I said earlier, we went from 8 employees to 50, and by the end of this year I'll have 80 employees. And we're doing cooler and cooler work, which I would love to show you, but it looks like I won't be able to. Yeah? Okay. Yeah, if we get it up, I'd like to show you some of the work we do, so it's kind of relevant right now. It's a little bit abstract. And another, I'm umming, rule number 1. Another story that I have about vision that I think is pretty cool is when we were living, oh, hi. Okay, great. That would be awesome. Hold on. Yeah. It's weird that it's not loading. Yes? Oh, you guys can hear me. I'm really loud anyway. No, because I guess there's just no way to play video. Is that true? Everything's streaming? Okay.
There is a limit. I know we can be anything.
Cheryl threw my whole game up. I had all videos, and I was going to just kind of talk in between, so now I'm going to wing it. Going to wing it. Pardon me? You're used to winging? Okay. So at this point, after you've pretend you've seen your really inspirational video, I'm going to go back. I wanted to tell you a story about vision at play in my life. About 16 years ago, we were living in Arizona, where I didn't really want to be living, and living in a very small house with 2 babies. And we had our business, but we were running it out of our bedroom. It was just a small, very small mom and pop, literally mom and pop enterprise. And we wanted to live in California. I'm from California. I grew up in San Francisco. We wanted to live in California, but really didn't quite see how we were just scraping by in Arizona, which is much less expensive. And again, we're living in a house the size of like this podium. But we sat down, Cliff and I sat down with each other and said, where is it we want to live? What does our ideal house look like? Like, where is it located? And we got really specific about having a house that was near the ocean, that was in San Diego, that was on a hill. And we got just even down into what the rooms look like and what, just every little detail about it. We wrote it down on a piece of paper, but we had no idea how we were going to get there. We just had it in the back of our head. And we came out to visit a friend in San Diego, and just in a just completely dreamy way went and looked at houses at model homes. But there was no way we could afford any of these houses, like not even close. But I walked into this one house, this one model home, and the hair on my arm stood up. And I realized, I said, this is my home. And I ran out to the car and I got Cliff, and he came in and he had the same experience. And we looked at each other and said, everything about it is the house that we imagined. And while we were standing in the entryway of this house, Cliff's phone rang. And it was a client that we had been trying to get for 2 years, who gave us 2 national TV commercials for Schick and Duracell that paid for our house, paid for a down payment anyway for our house, paid for a move, and from then on, everything in our life coasted through. Now, I can't say it all coasted through. We've had loads and loads of ups and downs, but it was that vision that got us to where we were. And hold on a second. You think so? That's great. Yeah. Okay. So one of the things I think about when I think about vision is it's sort of like a GPS system. You know, you get in your car and you put a destination into your GPS system, and if you don't do that, you could just find yourself driving around. And I think that that's what life is really like. You know, is you get pulled in this direction, you get pulled in that direction, you end up sort of wherever is,
I don't believe
people expect for you.
there is
But
a
when
limit.
you have a clear destination in mind, you may take a lot of, zigs and zags along the way, but at least you're going to end up where you were heading. And that destination is going to change all the time. We don't go to just one place in our lives. We go to lots and lots of places. And so it's not, what I'm talking to you guys about is not at 16 or 17 saying, this is exactly what I want to do with my life, because that would be absurd. There's no way you could possibly, well, maybe some of you do. I was not that kid. But the rest of you probably have maybe an idea. Probably the majority of you have no idea what you're going to do with your life, because your frame of reference isn't broad enough to know what all of the things, what you're capable of and what is available to you. But having a destination, any destination, is critically important. So I was going to talk about how we did that. Do you think it? No, I have my notes down actually on there because the notes won't show up on here. Yeah, no, I was just going to see where we were with that. Okay. Hold on. Let me find some other notes, guys. Oh, yes. Okay. Thank you so much. Oh, it's still.
I don't believe there is a limit.
Okay. It's not working. No. Okay. All right. Well, we are going to keep working on this, and in the meantime, I'll start killing some time. I guess really, one thing that I'd like to ask you is there anybody here that feels like they know where they're going, that has a clear vision for their life? Wow. 3, no, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh my gosh. You guys are really amazing. That's a lot of kids. How, yeah, you were the first one. Tell me. That's so clear. That's amazing. That's an absolutely amazing vision. How old are you? That's incredible. I can't believe so many of you. What about some of the other ones that had your hands up? Girlfriend. Like, yes. Yes, that's amazing. Now, do you have that written down somewhere? No? It lives in your head. You're super clear about it. It lives in your heart too, right? Wow. You're inspirational. Yes. Incredible. That's also incredible. Are you volunteering for any campaigns? Yes, I saw that. Wow. You guys are impressive. I'm completely blown away. What is your vision? That's a great job. I used to do that. So I know that it's a really great job. Do you have a lot of attention to detail? Yeah, that's the big secret. You've got to have a ton of attention to detail. Are you creative? Yeah? That's amazing. You guys are blowing me away. Let's just chat. This is so much easier. And I love hearing about you guys. Yeah. Do you really? And what are you doing about that? What are you doing about that? So we use voice actors all the time. I work with them a lot. So I understand, I know a lot about that business. That's a great way. It's a good career. It's a really good career. Come see me after and I'll give you some tips. Okay? Oh, yeah, hold on. And I'll work my way to you guys. Yep. That's exactly right. There is a never-ending need for animators and graphic artists. It's one of the hottest professions you can go into if you're creative. Yeah, fantastic. So you've already got a clear vision. You know where you're going, and you know how you're going to get there. I mean, what it ends up looking like on the other side, who knows, right? You could go in a million directions.
I'm also going to get a job so that I can get enough money to pay for each unit that I do the graphic design.
That's incredibly admirable. Good for you. Good for you. Yeah?
Okay, my dream is to become a criminal profiler for the FBI. Wait,
What, you have the same one?
No, but I mean, like crime scene investigator.
How could you both have that? Like, I've never even heard of people that have that dream. Are you?
Yeah.
So do you guys watch a lot of like crime shows and things like that? Is that how this came about? Yeah. That's amazing. And do you have any idea what it takes to get there?
Yeah.
You do?
I talked to the PD and investigator, so I mean, I've emailed. I've like had like face-to-face talks with them, like not bad or anything, but like.
Oh, bad face-to-face talks. Okay.
No, I mean, like, I like went to them personally, so it's just like.
So you took a lot of initiative. Yeah.
I was going to say, I started a cadet program with the STPD like last month, I think, and basically after you pass this background check,
It doesn't matter if it's a big goal. It doesn't matter if it's a big goal. You can do anything. You can do anything. You know, set a really big, hairy goal. And then you go for it, right? I mean, that's what it's called. That's what there's actually a saying in business. It's called a BHOG, and I don't actually remember what it is, but it's like a big, hairy BHAG. Big, hairy, audacious goal. Yes. Okay. Thank gosh you're standing there. Is it working? No video. That's okay. That's all right. You guys can go to my website and see our videos. I was going to show you our vision video, which talks about our company and what we believe in and who we are. But you can go to our website if you're interested and learn all about that. A few other people that want to tell me what your vision is? That's incredible. And how do you do that? 15 years of college? Okay, there's a theme here. I'm sensing a theme of like criminal forensics. I don't know. What's happening? There you go. That's it. Well, I'm incredibly impressed that so many of you have a vision, and especially that you have a plan to get there. I think I would have guessed that most of you had no idea, and it's okay if you have no idea. I had absolutely none when I was your age. I just knew that I was going to go to college because I was expected to, and I went to school and had no idea what to major in, and majored in English because it seemed like the easiest thing to do at Berkeley. And then kind of floated through my life. I didn't have a clear direction, and I had like I said, lots of careers. I was in the music business for a long time, and then went into nonprofit work, and then went into the film business, and then ended up with an ad agency. But I didn't have that vision to start out, and it would have saved me so much time and so much energy, for sure. So I'm really impressed that so many of you have a clear idea of where you're going and what it takes to get there. What I was going to, hold on, this is totally throwing me for a loop here, so I'm trying really hard. So I just wanted to address this slide for a minute, and then we'll go into the exercise that I was going to have you guys do. We're not necessarily going to do the whole thing, but I wanted to talk about when you set a vision, make sure that it's a vision that's true to you and not to somebody else. And again, your kids, you have a lot of expectations. People have a lot of expectations for you, and it's tempting, or it's, you're trying to live up, especially when you're talking about your parents' expectations, your teachers' expectations, society's expectations. And it's important for you to really live the life of your dreams. And I hope that, some of this is all probably sounding like gibberish, but maybe sometime in the future this is going to resonate with you, and you're going to look back on it and understand what I was talking about, because you're going to continuously be pulled in a lot of different directions. But stay true to becoming a homicidal criminal forensic anthropologist. So one of the things that I just wanted to give you a couple tools that so I can't show you any of this.
What we do, you can see it in our strategies, in the content we develop, in the presentations we architect, the events we orchestrate, in the stories we tell. You can see it on.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, this has gone completely out of order and completely sideways. Okay.
What we do, you can see it in our strategies, in the content we develop, in the presentations we architect, the events we orchestrate, in the stories we tell. You can see it on our faces. We carry it into every meeting, express it on every call, lights, camera, action it into every shoot, live it in every relationship. B2B, B2C, to be or not to be. PIA is for people, because stories that resonate with the human truth connect, inspiring people to be and do and share, moving them to act, to choose a company, to buy a product, to have a dialogue, to embrace a brand, to move from path of least resistance to going the extra mile. That type of connection, the humankind, that's what we do.
So completely out of context to everything we were talking about. That's just a little snippet of who, an introduction of who our company is. We are absolutely people-centric. We are completely vision-driven and are, in the right place at the right time in terms of what we do. But we've had to pivot a number of times. And I think going back to that GPS conversation, you're going to set a destination for your life, and then you're going to need to pivot, because that destination may not necessarily make sense for you at that point in your life. And don't be afraid to do that. I think I've met so many people. Is anybody planning on being a lawyer? Yeah, you probably will end up being a lawyer. You're going to law school with what you want to do. But I've met a fair number of lawyers, which is an admirable, honorable field, and I have lots of friends who are lawyers who love being lawyers. But I've met a fair number of lawyers who, when they were 16 years old or 17 years old, decided that that was what they were going to become. And you make a very significant commitment to go to law school. And so there's no, it's not really an easy thing to back out of. But I do know some people who have, and I know some people who not necessarily backed out of law school, but graduated law school and came out the other side and said, you know what, that's not who I am or what I want to be in my life. And they had the courage to pivot. Now, I'm not encouraging you to do that, to go to school and get 6 years or 7 years of education and then change your mind. But if you have to, don't be afraid to do it. You have to be willing to have flexibility as well as vision and direction. I was going to, so those are our offices. So I don't have my talking points either, so yeah, okay. So I was going to get down. I wanted to talk about vision sort of from a high level of just the importance of even having a vision. And then I wanted to kind of get down in sort of a micro level of how do I implement vision in my life or my vision in my life and stay on track? Because it's really difficult on a day-to-day basis to stay on track and to bring myself back to what's important. And so I use a tool. It's actually a Tony Robbins tool, and I'm sure everybody's going to roll their eyes really hard at that. But it's probably the best thing. I've tried so many other tools, and this is the very best thing that I've ever discovered. And it's called a rapid planning method. And we can hand those out, Sam. And I'm not as digital as you guys. You guys are probably even paperless at this school, are you? No? Not entirely, but mostly, yeah. I'm sure you guys don't really use paper very much. Right? You don't even have paper? You don't accept paper of any kind? Right. And I'm primarily digital too because of my business. That's how I need to run it as well. But I've found that using paper when it comes to setting goals and setting a plan for myself on a week-to-week basis is really useful. So the process for this system, and you guys can adapt and modify or not do it at all, is I capture throughout the week. I'll have ideas, and you all do that. It's like, oh, I should do this, or I had this really great idea, or I need to get this done. And most of the time, you don't really capture that anywhere. I use Evernote to capture all of the things, all of my ideas that come in my head, any of the action items I think of over the course of the day or a week. And I capture all of those, and at the end of a week, I sit down and I put them all in one place. So this has got on one side just to capture. You can just write down all of the things that you're thinking. I'm not saying you need to do that right now. And then at the end of the week, I sit down and don't know how to close that. It doesn't matter. You guys have it in front of you. I sit down at the end of the week and I break things out into categories, because when you have a to-do list of 100, 200 things like I often do, and probably you do too, if you're really honest about all of the things that you have to do, when you have a to-do list of 100 things, say, it's almost impossible to get through that list, and it's impossible to wrap your head around how to approach it. So the real value of this system is that you break things out into chunks. You break it out into categories. So if you have a fitness goal, you know that this week I need to eat a certain way, and I need to exercise this many times, and I need to go to my doctor's appointment, or whatever it is that has to do with health. You put it all in one category, and you break it out, and you start with your outcome. So instead of having a to-do list of all the things that you have to do, you start with your why. And your why is, why am I, if it's health, why am I, for me personally, worried about health? And my why is my kids. I want to be as healthy as I can for my kids. Or, when I just did mine this last week again, and it was opening, and we're opening an office in Portland. But for my Portland category, it doesn't say open office in Portland. It says open the best office, the best content agency, and most wildly successful agency Portland has ever seen. And my purpose is because I'm excited about this, and because I want to do this for my team, and I want to do this for my family, and I love a good challenge. So when I'm looking at those two things, do you think my action items are, I have to go and hire this person, and I have to go and pick out the wallpaper? No, it's when I'm looking at opening the best agency Portland has ever seen, my action items are, I get to go and do this, I get to go and meet this person, I'm excited about this, and it changes completely the context of what I'm doing and my drivers. And I do that for every single category of my life. And it changes all the time, because there are some projects that I'll cross off entirely, I'll complete it, but I'll have some, I'm trying to think of another one. I have so many, I have about 10 at any given time. But I always start with my outcome. I always start with my why. And that changes the conversation completely. So when you're sitting down and you're planning out your week, and you guys may or may not do that now, I don't know if you do, but maybe consider doing that and putting down action items for what is it going to take, right? What's the first step? What's it going to take for me to go meet with this person? Maybe I just need to make a phone call, or maybe I need to send an email, or whatever. You know that you're moving forward. You're constantly moving forward, and it gets you there so much faster. And I know for me, I have the attention span of a goldfish. And seriously, I get sucked into social like probably any of you guys. It's pathetic. And so, and especially when I don't quite know what I'm doing, if I get a little overwhelmed, a little distracted, I'll immediately pick up my phone and start checking my emails. I immediately start checking Facebook, and I'm not being productive, and I'm completely distracting myself, right? But so I bring myself back to this document that's got a clear outcome for what I'm trying to accomplish in my life. And I can't tell you how much of a difference it's made in my life. Just a massive difference. And I've done it for extended periods of time, and every time I do, my life moves along at a completely different pace. And then, like all humans, I'll completely forget about it and stop doing it, and everything gets a little out of control. And then I'll implement it again, and it goes right back on track. So it's just a tool. I don't know if you can put this in your computer. You probably could. I could probably email it out to the class if anybody's interested in it. But I just wanted to just take it from a really high level implementing vision down to a granular how do you implement a vision on a day-to-day basis, on a week-to-week basis. And then the last, any questions about that? No? Okay. It absolutely does. And there's a really great TED talk on I was going to actually show it, but on the power of why, Simon Sinek. And if any of you are interested, check it out. It's amazing. This guy is an incredible speaker. He's almost as good as I am. And his presentation is really, starting with your why at the heart of everything you do changes the questions completely. We all know what the what is. We all even have some idea about the how, but how you get to where you're going has everything to do with what your why is, what's your motivator, what's the thing that matters to you. And when you're describing your why, use really juicy terms. Don't have it be like, I'm going to be an event coordinator, right? I'm gonna do the event. I'm gonna be the best event designer and coordinator, really, in all of San Diego, or all of California, or all of North America. Why not? Right? Like, why not? And if you're thinking about it like that, your action items are going to change a lot. They really are. So I would just encourage you guys to think big, to think big, and keep your focus as much as you possibly can. And the last thing I wanted to touch on, I just wanted to give you tactical things that have really helped me in my life, and especially recently. This is a new practice that I've implemented, and it's called, it's just a 5-minute gratitude exercise that I do in the morning and I do in the evening. And it absolutely has changed my life, really in such a massive way, because it reframes everything that I'm thinking about. And I recently had some really bad news to do, that had something to do with one of my kids. And at the end of the day, I'm thinking, what great thing happened to me today? And there were great things that happened. It could have been worse. It could have been, my business could have collapsed. It could have been so much worse, but instead it really forces you, this exercise really forces you to think about things in a positive way, to reframe things in a positive way. So I start my day with a journal that I write down 3 things I'm grateful for. And it doesn't have to be 3 lofty, incredible things. It can be, your dog sitting next to you. It can be the fact that you guys get to come to an amazing school every day, that most kids don't have an opportunity to come to a school like this. It can be that you're healthy. It can be anything. It can be that your parents were nice to you that day. I don't know. And then you write down 3 things that'll make today an excellent day. And sometimes it's a really simple thing. For me, one of the things I have to write for myself all the time is that I'm present and I'm focused. I tend to get caught up in a lot of different things, and it's very important for me to kind of bring myself back to center. So that's one of the things I tend to write a lot in my journal about. What are the things that would make an excellent day? Or maybe it's something as simple as telling your parents you love them. Or, no, really, I don't know. Yes. We'll talk after, yes. But it really changes, it changes the course of your day. I promise you, if you do this exercise, it will change the course of your day. And then the last things I do are I do 3 affirmations, and I'll write just, you know, I am kind, or I am happy, or I am really, you know, focused again, because that's my big challenge. And it changes every day. And sometimes it's the same, sometimes it's different, but it really sets me off in a completely, you know, on a completely positive trajectory. And then at night before I go to bed, I write down in the same journal, usually on the same page, 3 amazing things that happened today. And some days, it's, you know, we're a little hard pressed to find amazing things that happened today. But when you start looking for them, you'll be amazed at how many amazing things happened in your over the course of your day. And again, it retrains your brain to really be looking for the positive. And then the last part of this exercise is writing down 3 things that could have made today even better. So if it was that you didn't complete a task, you didn't, you know, tell your parents you love them, and you said in the morning that you were going to, that would have made the day better for them. So again, this exercise, I just wanted to give you guys some tools, some hands-on tools when we're talking about vision to keep you moving forward and to keep driving it forward. And I don't know if I have anything else in here. I think that's it. Hold on. Yeah, I think that's it. So, does anybody have any questions for me? Yes, yes, I have created vision boards. I've created a lot of vision boards actually because they change all the time. And sometimes I update them, and then eventually it'll just be outdated, and I need to have a whole new vision board. I think again it comes back to dreaming big, and looking out 5 years, looking out 10 years. What do you think your life is going to look like in 5 years? Try to imagine that, and try to imagine the very best thing you can even imagine. Not what's realistic, but the very best thing you can imagine. And set that as your vision. Don't, you know, if you want to be in government, you should be in government. We need more people in government that are not idiots. I can tell that it is the job for you. I mean, we need more people in the world who are not idiots, really. And so dreaming big and aiming high and going out and making an impact is so important, guys. It's so important. So when you're doing your vision boards, really, I encourage you to dream as big as you possibly can. And think about all areas of your life, because it's not just about your career. Career is important, but what does your family look like? Do you have kids? What does that look like? You know, maybe someday, maybe not, right? Maybe you travel. Maybe there are a lot of places that you want to go in the world to travel, and you put that on your vision board. Maybe you're like the healthiest human known to mankind. I mean, right? I mean, maybe it's something like that. I mean, really think through all the categories of your life, not just your career, but all the categories of your life. And when you set the vision, set a really aggressive goal for yourself and an aggressive vision for yourself, because my guess is you can achieve it. I was listening to a podcast of this woman who's, she's a professor at NYU, and she's a designer. She's a graphic designer. Who's the designer? You, yeah. She's a graphic designer. She's her name's Debbie Millman. She's one of the most well-known graphic designers in the world, especially in advertising. And she gives a class on vision at NYU to her students, and she has them set a 5-year vision and a 10-year vision, and she follows up with all of them. She's been doing it for 20 years. And what do you think, what percentage of people actually reach their goals? Like, do you think it's a lot of people, or do you think they set it and forget it and nothing ever happens? I don't know the percentage, but it's very high. I actually said that and went, ugh. But it's actually surprisingly high. These people, even if they never looked at their vision again, just stating that makes all the difference in their lives. And so, again, if you guys are doing vision boards, you're really lucky that you're in a school that they're even thinking about that. And, you know, go for your dreams. There's absolutely no reason you can't do anything. So that's it, guys. I'm sorry I didn't have all the videos to lean on or my presentation. I dropped the mic, but I can't even.
Well, thank you. Thank you for speaking today, and I agree with your points on needing more people in the governments, and thank you for strengthening our internship speaker series.